Hey, welcome to the first video game tour of 2021. A lot of changes in the game room this year, and I thought I'd do a new video just showing those changes, and we'll do a quick tour. So lots of video games, some toys. Despite COVID and a lot of closures, still had opportunity to get out, probably around June, late June. Thrifting and yard sales and just local pickups. So I'll go over some of those and the changes that I made, some good, some bad. But let's get started. So behind me is my Tragically Hip collection. Picked up a lot of audio cassettes, as you can see on the wall, this year, thrifting and eBay, and then of course found them thrifting. So glad to get those in the collection. Just some artwork and stuff like that. But let's look at the rest of the game room. Okay. So new this year, I'm sure a lot of people played, was Super Mario 3D All Stars. So I got the poster set from Nintendo Rewards. So I have those just quickly framed. These are super cheap frames, but whatever. They look pretty good in the hallway here. So you have Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Mario Galaxy. And then we've got some of my real Ghostbusters collection. So there's some vintage toys here, and then the new 2020 releases of the figures. So I know when these first came out, they were pretty hard to get. They seemed abundant later on in the summer, but so I was glad to get this set of 4 plus the Green Ghost and Stay Puft. And then also, I believe this was in February of 2020, I picked up this Maddie collector's exclusive Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. It was actually, of all places, in Fergus, Ontario, at the Mission Thrift Store, in a silent auction. So these go for about $200 to $300. This was in the box complete. So I paid $82, I believe, for it. So really happy to add that to the collection. So that's new this year. A little ghost trap as well, that I got for, I think I got that last year possibly, but have it lit up right now. Some new artwork, Mario, all the different versions of Mario here. So this is, I unfortunately don't remember the artist's name, but really cool just piece. And then he also does this, which I have as a t-shirt actually. So these are all 80s and 90s characters. So you can see Bill and Ted and Beetlejuice, RoboCop, well, it's Evil Dead, Goonies, Kill Bill, Marty McFly. Yeah, so lots of cool stuff. I really love that piece too. And then the other thing I did this year too was I finally got around to cleaning up this vintage Nintendo cart. So I just use this to store stuff I haven't tested or stuff for sale. So this, you can see the original Mario outline. This was free on Facebook. It was painted green and pink and all sorts of colors, so I stripped it as best I could and then reprinted the labels, but you can actually see where the original Mario was. And then just in terms of pickups this year, this was, my goal is always about break even or turn a profit if I could. But so, I buy stuff thrifting or yard selling and then flip some and keep some. So, there's a good example, Papa the Rappa, $1.99. Right, so I got that this year. There's a few items for sale here, just like I said, things I haven't tested yet. So yeah, my whole goal with yard sales and thrifting is to keep a lot and stuff I want for the collection, and then otherwise I sell a lot. So my goal is break even. Did really well this year, so kept a ton of stuff, which I'll point out as we go down the hallway. So if you've seen my video game room tour before, you've seen these Ecto 1 and Out of Time plates. Bought these a few years ago and then just put them on some backboard and framed it. Finally, I have my Firehouse on display. Got this from my buddy Simon. So I used to have this just kind of buried in the back room. I got a 3D printer this year. I'll talk about that a bit. So I 3D printed the Ghostbusters sign. I haven't printed a label Ghostbusters symbol for it yet. Picked up lots of new Ghostbusters toys. So I got the sweeper, Ghost Sweeper, which prompted me to get that was I actually found this in a bundle, which is actually the highly sought after piece. So instead of selling this piece, I just bought the whole Ghost Sweeper. The Ecto Copper copter, I actually 3D printed the blades. Now they're supposed to be in red. I actually took a 2D image and designed it to be 3D and printed it. It came out really well, fit first try. So just gonna get some red filament soon and then print those in red. Got some other things back here too. These are new pickups. So some Janines, the Ecto 500 car, Banshee Bomber, and I've had this for a while, the Bug. So yeah, so I have some Ghostbusters on display in the hall now. Lots of things kind of getting into the hallway. Vintage Mr. T cartoon sleeping bag and Max Headroom sleeping bag. My neighbor gave me the Mr. T, and my buddy found Max Headroom at Value Village up north. Hadn't really planned on keeping Max Headroom. Thought I was going to flip it, but didn't pan out, so keeping it here. Super Mario Brothers Pinball. I did this a few years ago and just backlit it, so I really like it. New this year was I added, these are some Nintendo Club calendars. So I just framed up sort of the main page. This is 2010, and then did January and December. Super Dodgeball, Arcade Marquee backlit. Again, these are things I kind of had tucked away that I never really had out before. And then another calendar from the Nintendo Club. So I don't know, those turned out okay, I guess. I'm not sure about the placement here. I've talked about this before. This is just a poster that comes with the Star Wars original vinyl. What's cool about it is it has 2 Millennium Falcons in it. So there's one over here, and there's one over here. This is just cool. So I got that framed. That's from 77. And then the main living room, rec room, I guess we'll say, in the basement here. Let me just pan out a bit. See, there we go. So lots of stuff in here to talk about. We'll talk about some of the game consoles. It's kind of all over the place, but I think you'll get the idea once we get into it. So just last year, I think these are in the video, I got some cool pillows off of AliExpress, some Mario pillows. Let me just zoom in here back. So these were cool. These are like $5 each. There's another one there. My wife's a Wizard of Oz fan, so I have some Wizard of Oz art. We have a hoverboard I made and an almanac I made from Back to the Future. More Wizard of Oz art. I love this piece. This is all the Star Wars figures. This was a print that I got a couple years ago. And then another one kind of like 80s, 90s culture, A to Z. Some vintage blankets, just Pac-Man, just keep these when the kids are down here. Star Wars, Rainbow Bright, and there's a Harry Potter one there. Some more Ghostbusters. These are the Diamond Select line. So really like this line. I just pick them up loose when I can at toy shows and stuff like that. And then my buddy Matt got me this Punisher pinball, because I really like the pinball machine. And then I picked up this Pac-Man back glass. I just threw it in front of the fireplace. You know, it's kind of funny. Kind of looks like Pac-Man fireplace. Virtual pinball machine. Just threw a big one of the Ghostbuster Slurpee signs over the glass, just to kind of protect it. And one of the things this year was a 25-cent Barbie car at a yard sale in Gizmo, so I put that in there, trying to recreate Gremlins. This is my MAME cabinet. So it doesn't really get a lot of play. It's still down here. At some point, you know, I think both these probably have to go. They take up a ton of space, obviously, but it is loaded up with all these arcade games and emulators. Some more artwork here of Star Wars figures. And then, I don't know, get into all these consoles. So my house is actually split up where I have consoles on every floor. So my top floor is PS4 and PS4 Pro. All my games for it are kept up there. My custom Game Boys that I've done. So most of my Game Boy games are up there. My 3DS, my DS, Sega Game Gear. Those are on the top floor. And that's mostly because I was trying to separate where people play. So my son and I usually play PS4, which is upstairs. They have gaming PCs in their rooms. And then my main floor is my Switch, PS3, PS2, the NES Classic and SNES Classic. And that's where my wife and I watch a lot of TV, and I play my Switch on the main floor. And then down here, we have a lot of Xbox and just retro consoles. So Xbox One S, Xbox 360, Wii U, Wii, just a little AT, Genesis. I do have a Switch dock down here in case I want to play down here. Dreamcast, Sega Saturn, TurboGrafx 16. We'll kind of get through some of this stuff. So, a couple GameCubes, TurboGrafx games, Sega Master System, a PS2 Slim. Here is a yard sale find this year. So, Xbox 360, I actually thought this was the Halo edition. Paid $25 for this with 5 games. This was probably around July. Couldn't believe it. The guy had it just sitting at his yard sale. Posted it online, and someone corrected me saying, you're wrong. It's not the Halo edition. It's actually the limited edition, which is actually rare. So it doesn't say Halo at the front. This goes for about $200 to $300. Works perfectly fine. And then I actually have 3 of the controllers for it as well. So that was a great find this year. What else? Like I said, some TurboGrafx games. There's a Sega Game Gear here as well. And also Ring Fit, which I have to admit I still have not tried. I think I picked it up around November. Oddly, at the start of 2020, I was looking for one, and the prices skyrocketed, obviously. But still sitting here in the box. Another find this year. This was great find. Really excited to find this. Was Mario Cement Factory Game & Watch and the desktop version. So this was around $90 at Valley Village after coupons. I was buying it no matter what. I mean, this goes for probably like $150 plus easily. Works perfectly fine. I 3D printed a battery cover for it on the bottom, and really, really happy to find that. So you probably can't see it. Oh, you can't see it in here. So anyway, awesome. Love that. Super happy to find that this year. Picked up Mario Kart Live. So it's just sitting down here hanging out. There's the box for it, of course. And my buddy Ken hooked me up with Donkey Kong Jungle Beat that he found for $4 at the thrift store. Let's go through stuff that's in the table, sort of unceremoniously in the table here. So, have Google Stadia. Don't play it very often. I actually was given a $10 credit recently, and I picked up Doom Eternal for the Stadia for free. Just a box of controllers. Intellivision 2, some headsets, some PS2 controllers, Wii controllers, the Xbox, original Xbox Crystal Green controllers. Then we have all the Xbox One games. So my older son and I usually play that. Dreamcast controllers, a PS1, some Ness adapters, 4-score satellite, Super Scope. There's a Switch controller Zelda edition that my buddy Matt got for me at a yard sale. Let's talk about what's in here. This probably hasn't changed tremendously since the last video. And sort of unfortunately, I really don't display my Super Nintendo and N64 games. They're kind of just tucked away here. So on the bottom, there's Super Nintendo games and then 2 bins full of Super Nintendo games, and then N64. So it's not something I actively collect. If I find them, obviously I'll pick them up, but they're just tucked away here. So Super Nintendo, Watermelon Red, N64 I got at a yard sale a couple years ago. And then some controllers, Genesis that I got at Valley Village. Even though I had a Genesis, I wanted this just because of that sweet NBA Jam sticker on there and Ren and Stimpy sticker. Wii U and original Nintendo, and then there's some more controllers for Saturn and Dreamcast. And then Atari Vader Edition. There's another Atari, I think, tucked behind this one, just a wood grain. Woody, and actually there's an original Xbox, my original Xbox tucked way back there, which I obviously don't play anymore, so I'll play the green one over here. So that's kind of that stuff. I've been picking up a lot of EverDrive knockoff cartridges, so on the TurboGrafx I have this EverDrive. On my Master System I have another EverDrive. My Dreamcast is a Model 0, so it plays burnt games, which is super handy. Nintendo games. So these are just bins of Nintendo games. There's some cross stitch my wife made. So the top one, I always say it's like the Wizard, the Lucas Barton kind of starter pack where when he opens his game collection, that's the same games that are in here. I'm not going to open it right now. But yeah, so some Ness games sitting out here. Super Mario 3, kind of copper art I did in grade 8 public school. So I'm glad to still have that. Some more Tragically Hip stuff. Poster. That's probably it for in here. So let's go to kind of, I'll call it the storage. This is my, unfortunately, maybe, or fortunately, the guest bedroom / office, which I don't use as an office. And this has gone through a lot of changes this year. So I'm pretty happy with it. I still need some work, but just to scan out here, let's see. So there we go. Everything kind of just jammed in this room. So there's vintage toys, video games. There's the bed, obviously. So let's talk about what's in here. We have a couple more mini consoles, Genesis and PlayStation 1, which are modded. Vintage TV I picked up at a yard sale a couple years ago for $2. Just another Ness Dogbone controller, some extra controllers. So, like I said, I can sit here and play and test games, specifically on the Ness, or if I want to hook something up to this TV, I can. And then a lot of changes on the shelf this year. So I picked up more complete in box games this year, so I have them kind of stacked up on the shelf now. I've shifted a lot of stuff around. So original Ness, there is some a couple of box Super Nintendo games and 64 games. This was another find at a yard sale. NHL 99 for I think I paid like $5 for it or something like that. At a yard sale. And there's Rob. He's holding a really, really fake copy of Stadium Events. I made a Lee Cravello's putting challenge this year. So that's just cool, like how it turned out pretty well. Did some posts on Instagram about that. Lots of GameCube games this year that I picked up. There's my Power Glove. There's a PSP Go in there and a Vita TV back there. 3DSL box. Like I said, my consoles are upstairs. Some Wavebird, Banjo-Kazooie figure, which is actually worth a lot of money. And then a lot of GameCube games this year, so I'll just zoom in here for a sec. So Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, my buddy Ken found that for something like $5 and got it to me through some toy trades, so thank you very much. Easily the most valuable game in my collection. There's a Zelda Collector's Edition. Lots of great deals on these. Like, these are all thrift finds for $5. Metroid Prime, Air Ride. I found, Power Tennis and Mario Golf and Superstar Baseball. Tons of games for GameCube. Took the PSP games out. I just put them in storage. And then I have more DS games on display. PlayStation 1 games. I have my Vader PSP there. I'll come back to this stuff. So the big change this year was I built a shelving unit very poorly, quickly in the driveway. I'm going to have to reinforce this because the weight is just way too much. So we have 3DS games along the top. One of my actually the first yard sale find this year was someone selling vintage video games. These boxes were empty, allegedly. So they were $2. I was buying the box. He was surprised I wanted the box. $2. Fire Emblem, not empty. The game is in it. I didn't realize that till after I left. But this is like a $150 game. So that was my first yard sale of 2020. And also at the same yard sale was another good title, Advance Wars. So this is probably like a $80 game as well. So grab that. And then I just have other... So he had a lot of empty boxes that I had games for, so it was just great to add those. And then most recently at Value Village, I picked up Mario Tennis, Power Tour, and Golf, which I have loose, but great to have them complete. Some more DS games there. Picked up some 3DS games at yard sales this year. I picked up a 3DS at a yard sale for next to nothing, and then I flipped it. Kept the games that I needed and sold the system. So lots of 3DS games. PS3 games, PS2 games. I'd be tempted to get rid of the PS2 games. I could care less about PS2 personally. Wii and Wii U. So I've been finding a few Wii U games this year. I know a lot of people have been trying to complete that collection because it's actually fairly small comparatively. But like I said, I'm not actively seeking them out. Wii, Xbox 360, and then tucked away behind the Swatch phone is original Xbox games. So I just have this little mini fridge in here, Labatt Blue fridge. This was another actually awesome thrift find, was the BioShock special edition. So it had everything sealed inside it, the vinyl. The game was missing, which I own like 3 times over anyway. So the person obviously bought it and just opened the game and left everything else sealed. The vinyl alone is like a ridiculous amount of money. I think I paid like $20 for this. I'm a huge BioShock fan. So that was a great find this year. Some vintage Nintendo books. Some of these are from when I was a kid. The World of Power specifically is from when I was a kid. And then I found one at Value Village, and then got some other books just thrifting in for Christmas. Excuse me. Couple of Metroid, Ambios and figures. Huge Metroid fan. There's a cool Christmas card from Allison, Nintendo Queen. Put up some art. This is just Nintendo Club exclusive from quite a while ago, before when they still had the Nintendo Club. It just turned out it was tucked away in my kid's closet. I'd rolled it up, so I do need to frame that. It's a bit of an odd size. Some other Nintendo Club art there as well. And then we'll talk about Game Boys. So like I said, most of my Game Boys are actually upstairs. And so what I do is I keep my customs and the ones I actively play upstairs. There is one custom there. Game Boy Color. So those would be backlit or like a new LCD screen. And then we have a whole collection of Game Boy Pockets here. So green, blue, and clear. And then I got a Game Boy Lite in Bob Cajun of all places inside a convenience store that also had a sort of a video game store in it. So it was $50, which is a steal for that. And then behind it is Game Boy Color. So there's a camera. There's the clear one, or Atomic Purple, I think it's called. Green, purple, blue. So I still need berry and yellow. Game & Watch Parachute was complete in the box. I picked that up. I believe that was this year. And then I got a 3D printer, so I've printed stands for everything that you can see in the picture there. This was a Canadian Zellers exclusive Game Boy Advance. Got that thrifting. That might have been last year. This cool neon green Nintendo DS Lite I picked up this year. So it went with a personal cook game bundle. Came with like a little satchel to carry it. And then there's some Game Boy. There's some 3DSs. There's some DSi XLs. Like I said, my daily playing consoles for Game Boy are upstairs. So I have my own Advance SP and stuff like that upstairs. Some vintage Nintendo books that my buddy Ken got me and my buddy Matt found thrifting, including Zelda over there. What else? Some long box PlayStation 1 games and some Genesis stuff. So lots of box Genesis games. My Switch games I keep in a carrying case when I play them. So that's upstairs, but all the cases are here. Picked up quite a few games over Christmas and later this year. Obviously, a lot of people played Animal Crossing. I picked up Wonder Boy and the Cursed Kingdom. I got 2 copies of it because it was selling for ridiculous amounts on eBay. So EB Games had them on sale for like $50. So I bought 2 copies. I sold one for I think about $170, and then I actually kept the other one for myself and ended up opening it, and I love it. It's an awesome game. And Sega Master System box complete. One of those little mini Commodore 64 systems. PlayStation 2 controller, sealed. Found that like last summer at a thrift store for like $2. Just to fill the space is kind of funny or odd, I threw my power pad on the wall and some old posters, just staring at a big blank blue wall. I picked this up at a yard sale a couple years ago. It's just a vintage Nintendo pillowcase. It was like 25 cents. And then just have some vintage Pokemon sheets and Super Mario sleeping bag on the bed. This was one of a couple of finds this year. So obviously the 35th anniversary of Super Mario came out. So the Game & Watch, which I picked up, a couple of those. And then coincidentally the same day, I found at Value Village this 25th anniversary DSi XL in the box. Great price, so grab that for the collection. And then my buddy Matt got me the Mario cake pan. And there's some vintage G.I. Joe there. Then we have boxed games. So we have a Wii, a Wii U, Power Glove, Mario Paint, my original Game Boy from when I was a kid, a Mario phone. There's a Donkey Kong Country up there, N64 controller box that my buddy Ken found again, thrifting, and got to me. In the black bins are loose Game Boy Advance, DS games. Picked up the Timex Pac-Man watch this year, so that's there too. Sega Master System games, lots of vintage Mario applause figures. Got this cool wallet last year, I believe, or might have been at Berry Toy Show this year before we went into COVID lockdown. Picked up, what else? Beauty and the Beast Tiger Electronics game, just before Christmas. Thrifting. Lots of vintage books. This is just stacks of like vintage books. You can see some of the titles there. GoBots, Wuzzles. There's just tons of great stuff in here that I always search the books when thrifting, and there's some real gems in there you can find. Got the Ghostbusters Transformer this year, and for Christmas I got the Back to the Future Transformer. Again, my buddy Ken hooked me up with a deluxe Talk Boy from Home Alone 2. Got that. Got some Dreamcast games there. Some Sega Saturn games. What else is here? Mario controller picked up at Value Village, and then the limited Zelda Gold controller. Actually, I picked up at my first yard sale with the Fire Emblem game as well. Another Game & Watch pinball from last year. This was a funny little ceramic Yoshi I picked up this year, more as a joke. Got some vintage Nintendo carrying case, Donkey Kong puzzle, some vintage Nintendo stickers. There's just some older calendars there. Toys, lots of toys. So have some, what do we have in here? Thundercats, McDonald's toys, some DC Superpowers, Bionic 6, Dukes of Hazzard, Lone Ranger, some Guts. There's a sealed Winston Zedmore from like 84. That's pretty rough, but worth some good money. Some Cops, Turbo Two-Tone, my vintage Star Wars candle from when I was a kid. Lots of stuff in your A-Team car, Street Sharks, Casey Jones, hockey goalie. And then here's some of my real Ghostbusters collection. So some vintage books and comics. I found, just by luck, a lot of loose weapons this year. So I was able to complete some figures with weapons, just in bags, some extra ghosts. Picked up the Hunchback in Notre Dame this year. Some other Ghostbusters. Again, just loose ghosts that I found. So lots of great Ghostbuster pickups this year. More vintage toys. Mask, E.T., some Back to the Future soundtracks, more Back to the Future stuff. G.I. Joe, Biker Mice from Mars, some Ghostbuster stuff, some mini Thundercats, Starcom, lots of good stuff. Ness Games. So, sitting at about 300 Ness Games currently. So this is my kind of wall of Ness Games. And then also just have, again, some in a bin. Picked up Zombies Ate My Neighbors thrifting this year. There's another complete Wii in the box. I made these Puma Nintendo shoes, which they of course have now released actual Nintendo shoes, so I just thought the colors were right, so I just threw a Nintendo logo in there. Of course now they have these amazing sets of Puma shoes. I have some Game Boy Games box here too. Some of these were from not when I was a kid, but well, actually, yeah, All-Star Challenges from when I was a kid. Pokemon Blue, which the value skyrocketed on this year. So yeah, lots of Ness games. I don't have any super valuable Ness games. I can't think of one that would be, you know, really rare by any means. But yeah, so that's this room, I think, in a nutshell. Yeah, picked up some other Nintendo reward stuff. Paper Mario calendar for free. But yeah, so yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this room is turning out. If I were to make some changes, I'm going to redo the shelf, maybe get rid of the PlayStation 2 games, and think about what I'm doing with this whole bed situation. But anyway, yeah, so that's this room. So let me go wide angle again. You can kind of see this room. And then we'll go to the pinball room next. So, pinball room has, obviously, pinball machines. I just discovered that Jacks to Open is not doing so well. I don't really play these a lot, and so it's going to need some TLC. I have, so anyway, Jacks to Open, Mr. and Mrs. Pac-Man Pinball, Bally Strikes and Spares, Target Alpha. There's lots of toys in here too. Picked up tons of He-Man this year. I don't really know why. I'm not a huge He-Man person. What started off probably was my buddy was getting rid of his childhood toys, and so I picked up Scareglow, which kind of set the tone for getting all these other He-Man figures. Didn't really play with He-Man a lot as a kid, so not sure why. Anyway, been discovering lots of Masters of the Universe books as well, vintage books this year. Really grew my Star Wars collection in terms of figures. I have a vintage Darth Vader case that's full, and then I filled this other rectangular case. Right before COVID in February, I picked up Max Rebo Band complete. Actually, I was just missing. I think I was missing the mic and the flute, so Ken hooked me up with those. But really, like, I think I bought the whole lot for $20, and it was like 10 vintage figures and 10 modern figures, so it was well worth it. There's some Action Fleet Micro Machine stuff in here. Some other Captain Planet kind of loose toys. Picked up lots of Battlestar Galactica toys this year. Some Battle Beasts from when I was a kid. Oh my god, now I can't think of what this is called. Anyway, that's from when I was a kid too. Picked up the Playmobil DeLorean from Back to the Future this year. And there's Doc and Marty, so that was a really cool set. It lights up. It's really amazing and cheap too. What else? Some just vintage Transformers, Galaxian, tabletop, stuff like that. Yeah, so, and then the pinball machines still here. Like I said, I don't play them that much. Pac-Man, obviously have a few different Pac-Man toys up top there that I've been collecting and finding over the years, so I just keep adding them to the top of the machine kind of as like a topper. Strikes and Spares, you know, there's some vintage McDonald's backpack down there from when I was a kid, some Double Dragon arcade marquees, there's some more up there, Golden Axe, Boba Fett helmet. So obviously Mandalorian was super big this year, so I've had that for a long time, probably more than 10 years. Some vintage board games. I like to collect video game themed board games. So Q*bert, Real Ghostbusters. I've had that since I was a kid. Popeye, Knight Rider, Star Wars, Zaxxon, Miss Pac-Man, Super Mario Brothers, Kroll, G.I. Joe. Some vintage Star Wars toys up here as well. I don't know if I've added any of these this year. Captain Power ship. And then down here, sort of unceremoniously, is another stack of board games. Pac-Man Hotels is a great game, quite valuable. Picked that up at Value Village, but I actually had my own copy since I was a kid. And then actually yard selling this year from Bird's Papaya. So she lives in Guelph, and her husband Shane had this Ninja Turtles toy chest since he was a kid. So got that, which is super awesome to have in the collection. Like I said, it's kind of tucked away here behind the pinball machine. And then my 3D printer, I ended up clearing out the kids' toy cabinet and just tucking it in here. So I've been printing off lots of game stands and stuff like that. So that's the Pinball Room. Fireball Island, complete since I was a kid. It's a super valuable game as well. So yeah, that's more board games. New Kids on the Block, Home Alone, Care Bears, Tetris. This is an awesome original Tetris game, sponsored by Nintendo. Came with a coupon for a game. That's probably it. That is the Pinball Room. Like I said, I'm gonna need some TLC on one of those games, and I think that's it. That's pretty much it. Let's go back to the main room. The TV's now off. Alright, I'm going to flip my camera around here. Well, that's the tour for this year anyway. So thanks for tuning in, and we will talk to you later. Have a good one.